The following conversations are taken from our channel membership exclusive weekly live show that we do on Saturdays from 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time called Members Talk Live. Find out how you can become a member and appear on the show. All of the information is down in the description below, as well as all the links to the channels of today's guests. Check them out, and I hope to talk with you very soon. Today's show, guys, we've got a number of topics to go through. The Oscar contenders for VFX have come out. We're going to go through the movies that are in the conversation, see which ones we agree with ones we don't. Natalie Portman's talking about Star Wars. She's saying she's open to return. Should she, and even can she? We'll talk about that. We've also got the Kong x Godzilla trailer. We've got a Furiosa trailer from Mad Max. And David Ayer is out there talking about his Suicide Squad cut once again. Do we want to see that? All that and more, guys. I've got a great group of guys here to talk with me today, group of members. So let's just bring them in one by one, starting with his very first debut on the show. He's new and he's awesome. So you guys are going to love to hear him talk. It's Ryan Lane from Movie Reviews with Ryan Lane. What's going on, man?
Not much. Just happy to be here, man.
Dude, happy to have you here, man. Thank you so much for joining us. And along with him comes another awesome member. It's Michael Entity.
What's going on, man? How's it going?
I'm doing well, dude. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Fantastic, man.
With that, guys, thank you again for being here. And we're just going to jump into our first topic today. And that is going to be the Oscars, the short list. The 20 contenders for the Visual Effects Award, or at least to be nominated, have come out. This is from Variety, but this is coming from Dark Horizons, who has taken the article and kind of made it a little bit more digestible. So this is the top 20 contenders at the moment that they're looking at for nominations for the Visual Effects Award. So the contenders are Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which is interesting because that's not even out yet. So I guess some people have seen it. Barbie, The Boys in the Boat, The Creator, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Marvels, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, Napoleon, Nyad, Poor Things, Rebel Moon Part 1, Society of the Snow, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, and Wonka. So that's a big list there that they're looking at for visual effects. And some of the names in there definitely stand out. Some of the names in there stand out for the wrong reasons, and some of them stand out for the right reasons. So I'm just going to pull this list up again, and I'm going to throw it to you, Ryan. What on this list sticks out to you? What do you think should move forward as a contender to be nominated? What do you think should just be flat out taken out of the conversation?
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I don't know how that film managed to cost $200 million, but it can't have gone to visual effects. It's like, what? How?
Dude, look at my boy MODOK down here, man. Like,
yeah, exactly. $200 million went into that thing. 200. Like, how? Like, everything, everywhere, all at once outdoes the special effects, and they
I agree.
an eighth of the budget. It's like, even amongst blockbuster movies, like say Jurassic World. Dominion, like, again, $200 million budget, but that film looked substantially better. It's like,
yeah.
Well,
I mean, look, I liked Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I enjoyed it. I thought it was creative. I don't think it should be a contender for the Oscars either, though. I mean, there were definitely some shots in there too that looked a little shoddy. They didn't look in focus. They didn't look great all the way through. So I definitely agree with you there. What's one that stands out to you that you would definitely think should move forward?
The Creator.
Nice.
Because when I tried to look up the budget for it and I saw $80 million, I was like, that can't be right. But then I was like, oh wow. Because I mean, I feel like even films like Dune Part 1, that had a budget of $150 million. And I feel like the visual fidelity between those two is practically comparable.
The Creator blew me away with this. I didn't love the movie as a whole, but when it came to the visual effects and you find out just how much they made that movie for, insanity, just incredible. Michael, you look at this list. What stands out to you? What should move forward? What do you think they should just toss out into the garbage can right now?
Before I say something, I'm just glad that The Flash was not on there, as much as I really did enjoy The Flash. I really did enjoy that movie. God, those effects were just like Ryan said, $200 million definitely did not go towards that. It probably went to Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Uh,
No kidding.
I mean, honestly, based on the list, I mean, some of these movies haven't even came out yet, so I can't really say for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, Barbie. I mean, I didn't love Barbie. I still got to put that a review on my channel. But God, the production design and the VFX, dude, like
Yeah.
that was a plus. So I would love to see what they would do with Barbie. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. I mean, at this point, we all know that the Mission Impossible movies, they're always going to look great. But I feel like since Barbie was such a crazy achievement and just how popular it got, because I've never seen a movie done like Barbie. That's just me. I've never seen enough like toy girl movies, so I can't really compare them to anything. But I would love to see Barbie go into the contestants. As far as like ones that stand out that I think should move forward, oh man, that's a hard one. Because Dial of Destiny had some great moments, but it had some really bad moments. I'd probably have to say, I'd probably have to say with Ryan. I would have to say Quantumania. Like, I don't know what's going on with Marvel lately. Like, I mean, Godzilla -1 cost $15 million in US dollars, and the CGI in that was incredible.
Yeah, the humans compared to the Godzilla foot, it's like you wouldn't know that foot was CG, or I mean,
Well-
maybe it was practical.
Well, and the thing with Japan too is that they still use rubber suits. So there were some times where they would use a rubber suit and go back to CGI, but they only use CGI when necessary. Yeah, no. So I'd say Barbie is something I really want to see move forward, but to not move forward, I'd say Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I definitely agree with Ryan on the creator. I think the creator is visually stunning, especially for the amount that they spent on it. I also want to give a shout out to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Especially with what's the villain's name again?
High Evolutionary.
High
Yeah,
Evolutionary. Thank
yeah.
you. The effects on the High Evolutionary, the makeup and everything like that, and the blend of the CGI, he looked great.
It kind of reminded me of RoboCop.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
a little bit. Yeah.
Also, Rocket himself, like if you look, it's sort of amazing just look at
Yeah.
the behind the scenes for the first Guardians and the Guardians 3. Like with the first Guardians, it's just a traditional Bradley Cooper in a recording booth, except, he's occasionally acting out some of the actions, like lifting up his big comically oversized gun. And in the third one, they got like a whole motion capture rig set up on his face. It's amazing how far the production came.
Oh my god, what the CGI they did with Rocket, I'll tell you this, that whole complaint about the Lion King remake where the lions couldn't show emotion because they look too real. It's like, look at Rocket Raccoon, no excuses.
Not just Rocket, but his friends too. You had Lyle.
Oh yeah, Lyle,
They
Floor,
all
and
looked amazing.
Oh, they were in, like, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was probably my favorite Marvel movie in the last 5 years. I adored that movie.
And I definitely think it should be a contender for visual effects. I'm not so sure about Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny, to be honest with you.
Half and half.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this: the underwater sequence. It's like if I had a nickel for every time Disney released an underwater movie where the VFX weren't up to par and they were murky, I'd have 2 nickels. Which is weird that
Basically.
it happened twice, but it's like 300. I mean, it's not as like I've seen like I don't know. It's not the Dial of Destiny does not have the worst VFX I've ever seen. That merit badge goes to Expendables, which cost $100 million.
Oh, Zach, the green screen effects in Expendables 4 were kind of like those old sitcoms from the 90s where, like, when they're driving a car, they're in front of a projector screen. That's how bad it looked. I mean, maybe I should have put Guardians on my list, but I don't know. Barbie just did really good. I feel weird saying that.
Yeah, I think that as far as what I would take off, I would agree. Probably Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I do like the movie, but I think we're overlooking those Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, dude, I adored the Spider-Verse movies. I'm so excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
me too. I love how with Beyond, Across, that they really got imaginative. Like in the first film, they had one art style. With this one, it's like, let's have all the art styles.
Oh, like, dude, all the bright, vibrant colors that they were using, like,
Yeah.
to like kind of show the character's personality and like their emotions. Like, it was so seamless. But like when you go back and watch it, it's like whoever the animators were for Spider-Verse, give them a raise because these guys did phenomenal.
I'm gonna pull the list up again. I'll go first to give you guys some time to think. Let's
All
pick
right.
5 that we would bring to the Oscars. Just our
Okay.
top 5 that we think
Okay.
should come to the Oscars. So I'll start. I'm definitely gonna throw in the creator in there. I think the creator deserves it. I'm gonna throw in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'm gonna throw in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. For my fourth one, I'm gonna go Godzilla -1. I think for the budget that they made that for, I think it looks really, really good. And for my fifth and final pick of the movies that I've seen, I think I'll go Killers of the Flower Moon. Because that is a movie where the visual effects are worked into it so seamlessly that you don't even know you're looking at visual effects half the time. I'll throw it to you, Michael. 5 you're bringing to the Oscars. Which ones are they?
Let's take a look. I would do Barbie, Guardians of the Galaxy, Godzilla -1, and then do Dead Reckoning, and then Across the Spider-Verse.
Nice. Dead Reckoning is a good pick too. I was gonna go that way. I could have gone that way as well. So I like that you brought that one.
Yeah, loved it.
And Ryan, how about you?
Okay. Barbie, the creator, Dungeons and Dragons,
Ooh, good pick.
Godzilla -1, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Nice. Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons had some really great effects in there too. Actually, that one's kind of underrated.
Yeah, especially Chris Pine's face when he's like all contorting and stuff. That was great.
Oh yeah, I really loved the practical effects. It was a lot more practical than I was expecting.
Oh, it was. I really liked Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm not even a D&D fan. I really liked it though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought it was fine. You know, it's nothing offensive, but you know, I don't know. It didn't grab me.
It was better than the one with Jeremy Irons from 2000.
All right, yeah, fair enough.
That's the bar. That's the bar you set it at.
Right.
Yeah, put down the poster. It's better than the one with Jeremy Irons.
That's a good tagline.
All right, guys, let's move on to this. Going into the realm of Star Wars.
Ooh, here
Natalie
we go.
Portman is coming out. She's we got Ewan McGregor back. We got Hayden Christensen back. She's like, hey, give me a piece of the pie. Well, not necessarily, but anyways, this comes to us from Dark Horizons. This is what it has to say.
Let's do it.
While she was out promoting her work in Todd Haynes' May December, the actress was a guest on Andy Cohen's Watch What Happens live series this week. She says that no one has asked her about returning to the Star Wars franchise at this point, but added that I'm open to it. She also spoke about her experience on the film, saying, "It was the first time I worked digitally. I don't think anyone was shooting that way. It was my first time working with a green screen. It was a whole new set of skills to pick up and a whole new world to enter." Natalie Portman, our Princess Amidala, is out here saying, "I would like to come. Well, I wouldn't like to, but I'm open to coming back to Star Wars. The door is not shut for me." So it kind of leads to a conversation going around right now with Ewan McGregor back, with Hayden Christensen back, with Ahsoka bringing in Hayden Christensen and going back to Clone Wars eras and doing flashbacks and all this crazy stuff. Do we see a possibility of Padme making her return some way, shape, or form on Disney Plus in the movies? I don't know. She's dead. It has to be a flashback somehow.
Yeah.
Michael, what do you think of this? First of all, would you be interested in seeing Padme's return, or do you think they should just let it be, let her die? We don't need to see any more Natalie Portman in this franchise.
I think they just need to let it be. Like, I'll be honest, because when I first saw the prequels to Star Wars, I hated them, but I have actually gotten to appreciate them a lot over the years. Not that Natalie Portman was bad as the character; it's just there wasn't anything interesting about her character other than she was Anakin's love interest. That's kind of just what I saw her as. So, I mean, if they decide to bring her back, like you said, it has to be a flashback. Like, there's no way they could, do something like that. But if they, I don't know, man. Some of these writers have surprised me. So if they can work something around it and they can make it better, then I would absolutely be interested to see it. Honestly, I'm always open to see.
For starters, I really liked the Padme character in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I think she's better fleshed out. She's more than just, as Michael put it, she's not just Anakin's love interest.
Right.
Like,
that's a good way to put
her
it.
own political dealings. And I feel like, because with Anakin in the Ahsoka series, it didn't feel like Anakin from the Star Wars prequels. It felt like Anakin from the Star Wars: The Clone Wars TV show in terms of characterization and personality. And I feel like I mean, if Natalie Portman's up to it, I feel like it'd be interesting to see her try and essentially take on the character of Padme from the Clone Wars TV show. I'd be interested in seeing that. I'm not like demanding it, but like she said, I'm open to it.
Let's end it with this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being impossible, or maybe not impossible, but 1 being very, very unlikely, and 10 being a solid lock, it's going to happen. On a scale from 1 to 10, what do you think the chances are we see Natalie Portman appear in Star Wars, whether it's on a Disney Plus show for a scene in a flashback, whether they do a movie centered around the Clone Wars and she's in a full-on movie? From a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think the likelihood is that we see Natalie Portman in Star Wars again in the next 10 years?
I'd say a 4.
4? So you're going pretty low then?
A little bit low, yeah. But it's close to 5, so it's close to a half and half. But I still don't know if it'll really happen.
I'm sort of hovering between a 4 and 5 as well. It's like, again, if she really wanted to, she'd get her agent to call up Disney and be like, "Hey, let's make some money,
make it happen."
Yeah.
I'm gonna go slightly higher than you guys. I'm gonna say 6.
Okay.
I think it's not out of the question, and because there's so much Star Wars content that they want to produce and so much that they want to throw out there, and if she's expressed an interest and she's a high-profile actress, I could see Disney or Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau, who has a relationship with her, reaching out and being like, "Hey, we've got this fun idea, just like we're doing a Vader series, and we want to do a hologram footage of something that Padme once said. Why don't you come in just for a little bit and shoot something real quick?" I think there's a possibility of that happening in the next 10 years. So I'm gonna go 6.
I can see that. Okay.
He's like, but what if we added Ahsoka?
Let's move on to this now. So
ooh, here we go.
The DCEU is wrapping up with Aquaman this 2 weeks from now. And
the 22nd.
Yeah, the 22nd. That's right. It's coming up really quick. That movie I think is just gonna come like a fart in the wind. It's gonna come and go and no one's really gonna notice. That's how I feel about Aquaman.
And it's such a shame because the first Aquaman actually did really well when it first came out.
Yep.
So
especially overseas, it got it to $1 billion.
They made a lot more money than I expected.
Yeah. Oh yeah. More than anyone expected. I think Jason Momoa woke up a very, very happy man that day.
I love the guy.
So the DCEU is ending with Aquaman, and we're moving into the DCU. Well, some things are apparently carrying over. That's a whole other conversation. But for the most part, we're leaving the DCEU behind us. Well, there's one guy who can't leave it behind us, and that's David Ayer. Because David Ayer directed Suicide Squad in 2016, and it's very infamously known that the studio made an awesome trailer. The trailer got a lot of buzz, and they thought, well, let's just make the whole movie like this trailer. And they gave the movie to a trailer company, and they edited this film, put it out into theaters, and it was not well received. Did well at the box office, but was not well received. And then you had Zack Snyder's Justice League come out, his finished copy of his version of Justice League, which sparked conversation from David Ayer. I got my own copy of Suicide Squad, and I'd like to get that out there. And David Ayer, he is talking once again, and he's thinking that this is something that's going to happen very, very soon. This comes to us from Dark Horizons, and it says, Ayer recently spoke with Total Film about the Suicide Squad Ayer cut and remains confident that the Ayer cut of the film will eventually emerge. He goes on to say, I think so. I'm going to be hopeful. There are a lot of people that are invested in certain narratives that don't want to see the light of day. So there's an immense political headwind against it, because if the cut were made public, the cowardness and the whole just general crappiness of how the film's been treated and how the actors have had this great work that they've done taken away, the narrative blows up once people see the movie. But it's coming. Something's going to happen. Something's going to be revealed. The truth always comes out. It always comes out. And he also goes on to say, earlier this year, Ayer said that whilst his cut isn't perfect, he says it is vastly better than the studio hack job. And the typical reaction he gets from those who've seen it is shock about how much better it really is. What do you guys think of the Ayer cut? First of all, are you guys interested in seeing the Ayer cut? And do you think it's a good idea for Warner Brothers to put it out now that we're moving forward into this new era of DC?
I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50. The 50% of me is like, the Snyder cut was an improvement of but then of the theatrical cut. But then again, I feel like we already got an improvement of the theatrical cut. It's called The Suicide Squad, and James Gunn directed it. All I just gotta say is this: if they do release an Ayer cut, do not make it 4 hours.
Oh my
Please.
gosh.
Yeah, that was stretching it a bit.
The last
I
half
enjoyed
hour
it, but yeah, it was a little long.
The last half hour of the Snyder cut is just end credit sequences stacked on top of each other, and it gets exhausting.
Yes.
That's hilarious. That's not wrong. That's that's really
No,
funny.
he's being truthful. Honestly, man, I really am. Look, I was one of those guys when I saw Suicide Squad in theaters. God, I wish I had a way to post a picture up here, but I dressed up as Jared Leto Joker. I was so hyped for Suicide Squad when it was coming out because I was a big comic book. Look, I'm a big DC fan. I loved the DC comics. So when I heard they were doing Suicide Squad, I'm like, yes. And I denied it. I was in denial for almost a year thinking that Suicide Squad was good until I finally watched it again. I'm like, this movie sucks. So because I kept thinking, I'm like, this doesn't seem like a David Ayer movie because I've seen most of his movies and not all of his movies are great, but I remember I think it was a year or two ago there was a leaked scene. It was the scene where Harley Quinn gets saved by Joker and like they're all hugging and stuff. And then but there was an alternate scene that was leaked from like David Ayer's computer. I don't know exactly what it was, but it had the Joker have like a different reaction, and just that small scene really made me go, this small scene literally changes the whole movie because as people know, Joker's an abusive piece of crap. So when you saw Joker and Harley Quinn being like a dream couple in Suicide Squad, I'm like, nah, I can't see that. So an Ayer cut, honestly, man, I'm excited. And if Zack Snyder was able to release his 4-hour cut, then I have no doubt we could definitely see Ayer's cut.
I want to address that though, because I've seen a lot of the Ayer cut comparison to Zack Snyder's Justice League cut, and I think that those are two very drastically different things. Because when you look at the Zack Snyder Justice League cut, first of all, the whole regime of Warner Brothers is different now. David Zaslav was not there to greenlight the Zack Snyder Justice League cut. There's no way that he would have. Now that we know what kind of CEO he is, there's no way that he would have greenlit the Zack Snyder Justice League cut because the Zack Snyder Justice League cut wasn't done, and that's a big difference. Is they gave $70 million to go and make the movie and finish the movie, and he shot new things, and he was able to make the movie how he wanted to make it and complete it. He also had the advantage of seeing how the theatrical cut was received, so he could make changes and improve upon that. Whereas the Ayer cut would be the same movie, it would just be edited differently because the Ayer cut, it was his movie. They just edited it and like you said, did a hack job on the footage that he already had and constructed a movie out of it the way that he wouldn't have constructed it. But ultimately, if we did get the Ayer cut, the movie would still be the movie. It would just be structured and cut differently. What do you think about that, Michael? Because I can see that you're ready to speak.
Right. No, I totally agree. Because I mean, when you said they were editing and stuff, because there was that one point where when they had first released the trailer for Suicide Squad, around that time Deadpool was going to come out, and DC was like trying to compare with Marvel. So I don't know if you remember, Zach, but they did a lot of reshoots for Suicide Squad, like a lot.
Yeah, that was a big story too.
I guarantee a lot of those reshoots were to tone the movie down a bit and make it a little bit more not family friendly, but a little bit more appealing to mainstream audiences. Yeah, no, that is a really good point
too. Yep.
That was a good one. Thank you, Ryan. That was a great comparison. But honestly, man, I totally agree with both of you guys. But who knows, man? Who knows if the Ayer cut's released, man? I would really love to see it. I'll just put it like that. I really want to see it.
I don't know. I'm ready to move on. It's like, I mean, because it's like Justice League was supposed to be, DC's answer to Marvel's The Avengers back in 2012. But I mean, Suicide Squad, I don't know. It's like, again, it's not that I disliked Suicide Squad as a premise. I enjoyed that one episode in that DC Justice League Unlimited, and I liked the Suicide Squad directed by James Gunn, but I don't know. I'm not as enamored with Suicide Squad 2016.
The hunger for Zack Snyder's Justice League was there. I mean, it was all over Twitter for a couple of years. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone wanted to see it. Everyone was so curious about it. Do we feel like there's that collective of a hunger to see the Ayer cut? Because I feel like the most people that talk about the Ayer cut is David Ayer, and that like just personally, I honestly feel that way when I look at whenever the Ayer cut is talked about. So I'll throw it back to you, Ryan. Do you think that if they were to do this, if they were to release it, whether in a Blu-ray, whether in a collection of like Suicide Squad 2016 re-released with the Ayer cut, or just on HBO Max, do you think that they would have the interest there to get the viewership?
I mean, David Ayer, he does have his fans, and I've liked some of his movies. I enjoyed Fury, but
Yes.
I don't know. It's Zack Snyder has a very, let's say, passionate fan base, and I don't know. I don't see that type of fan base, coming up in arms saying we demand the Ayer cut, and we, no matter how many CEOs and executives we have to harass on Twitter to get it. It's
like he said, Zack Snyder has a very passionate fan base. I'm one of those guys. I adore Zack Snyder. I love the guy. I think he's an incredible human being. But Zack Snyder, he's always, even before he did his DC movies, he was always known for making like really big, spectacle movies. If that makes sense, like movies that you have to see in theaters. So he was one of those directors that got known for that. David Ayer at the time was only known for just being the guy who wrote Training Day. He didn't direct Training Day, he wrote it, and then he would direct like small little action movies like Harsh Times with Christian Bale or Street Kings. A lot of those small, he never really did huge Hollywood projects until Suicide Squad. So that's why I don't see people really getting that excited for it, because David Ayer wasn't really a huge name.
James Gunn is now the head of DC Studios. James Gunn kind of is able to make decisions surrounding DC that no one really was able to make before. And because James Gunn is a filmmaker himself, is a director himself, I imagine he's got some kind of friendship or relationship with David Ayer, because all these guys seem to like know each other somehow.
Yeah.
What do we think the chances are? Let's do a scale of 1 to 10 again. 1 being very unlikely and 10 being a solid lock, it's going to happen. What do we think the chances are in the next 5 years we see the Ayer cut released in some way, shape, or form?
I would probably say maybe a 5 in the middle.
All right.
Yeah.
That's solid.
I'd say a 3.
Very low.
Again, the only time I ever hear about the Ayer cut, like I said, is when David Ayer talks about it. I don't see it on online chatter. There's no YouTube videos, no Twitter threads, nothing even in the mainstream media, just radio silence.
I'm going to go slightly lower than Michael. I think I'm going to go 4. And I think I'm going to go 4 because I honestly do believe that James Gunn will champion this. And I do believe that James Gunn will try to help David Ayer out. But at the end of the day, David Zaslav is James Gunn's boss. And I just don't think the guy is interested in doing anything that resembles the past of DC, especially with the spot that they're in right now. I think he wants to move forward with the DCU and leave the DCEU behind him. So for that reason, I just think that that's going to be the roadblock to getting this thing out. But as far as our interest in the Ayer cut goes, let's buy or sell it. Do we buy the Ayer cut or do we sell the Ayer cut? Do we want to see it? Do we not want to see it? I'm gonna buy it. I'd be interested in seeing it. I think it's harmless to see it, especially like within the next 5 years when the DCU is starting to go. It might be a fun little time capsule to look back on. So I'm gonna buy it, and I want to champion David Ayer. I want him to get his movie out.
I mean, I spent $85 on a Blu-ray once, a very rare one, so I'll definitely buy it.
You'll buy it.
if I'll spend that kind of money on a Blu-ray.
What about you, Ryan?
I don't know.
You gonna sell it?
Yeah, sell it.
Sell it to me, Ryan. Sell it to me, please.
Yeah, all right, sure. Yeah, just give me
your price, $85. We'll move on next to a couple trailers that were released within the last week, and we'll start with this trailer. We'll start with Godzilla X Kong. Godzilla X Kong had their trailer this past week. I did a trailer reaction to this. I don't know when this was. I think this was announced like 2 years ago, maybe. I totally forgot about it. Like when the trailer dropped, I was like, "There's another Godzilla Kong movie." I totally forgot about this thing. So I watched the trailer. You can see my reaction. It's on the trailer. I enjoyed it. I think it looks like dumb fun. Now, I just got back from last night seeing Godzilla -1, and after seeing Godzilla -1, when I watch this trailer now, it looks like complete cotton candy fluff to me. Like it's just like
Yeah.
some of the hype for it did die down a little bit to me because Godzilla -1 just made Godzilla so freaking awesome. I just don't see how this lives up to it. But even with that said, the trailer was fun, and I want to hear from you guys.
So overall, for the MonsterVerse, my opinions have been pretty across the board. I like Godzilla 2014. I'm not a fan of Kong Skull Island. I found that kind of boring at times.
Oh, I really enjoyed that one.
Godzilla King of the Monsters, definitely did not like that one. I
Yeah.
did like Godzilla versus Kong. I did enjoy that. So, I mean, Godzilla X Kong, I mean, that looks like the same bonkers type action, going to center Earth type stuff that they had in versus Kong. So, all right. And I guess to that end about the cotton candy fluff, I think that does really highlight the difference between America and Japan's relation to Godzilla, because I read an article that talked about how for Japan, like the difference is in Japan, he's not just viewed as a monster, he's viewed as like this mythical figure almost, like a deity. Like for them, like Godzilla is like a reminder of nuclear Armageddon, whereas
He's an allegory. He's an allegory for the nuclear war.
Meanwhile, for us, Godzilla is just an overgrown lizard that wrecks Tokyo on occasion.
The MonsterVerse, well, I'll tell you this, man. Back in 2012, when they first announced that Legendary was working on Godzilla, I mean, I was a big Godzilla fan. I've been a huge, I've seen every Godzilla movie, like the original Japanese ones. And I even at one point was in love with the 1998 Godzilla film with Matthew Broderick. I thought that was the greatest thing ever. Since then, I have actually developed a brain. So, But no, man, as far as the MonsterVerse goes, I was so excited. I remember going on the internet, looking up when 2014 Godzilla was coming out. I saw it in theaters twice. I really loved it. Watching it again recently, I don't think it holds up very well because Godzilla hardly is in the movie, and they focus on the Mutos monsters, which look like the Cloverfield monster. They focused on that too much. Kong Skull Island had its moments, but I wasn't in love with it. Godzilla King of the Monsters, I think, probably had some of the best fight scenes from the monsters ever, but the human characters are just, they sucked. They were awful human characters. Godzilla versus Kong, I loved. I think I actually gave that movie an A when it came out. Maybe it might. I think I might change my grade if I watch it again because I just loved it so much. But honestly, man, like, I don't know. This trailer just looks interesting. I mean, obviously with Godzilla being pink, seeing Godzilla run in this movie alongside Kong, like it's a buddy cop movie. It looks pretty awesome, man. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I guarantee we're going to go into this movie like we do with Michael Bay movie. Like, turn your brain off and just enjoy it. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm very excited to see this movie. I don't care whether the human characters suck as long as I can see Godzilla and Kong. I'm satisfied, man. That's kind of where I land on it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I like the pink look to Godzilla that they're giving him. I don't know. You said you've seen all the Godzilla movies. Has he ever been pink? Has he ever had the pink nuclear before?
No. I'm trying to remember because not including the black and white Godzilla movies, but no, in all the other movies, like his fire, like his atomic breath has always been like either blue or white. But as far as pink, no, he's never really had pink. So I like it. I think it's actually, no. That is a lie. In Godzilla 2000, which came out in 1999, but America released it in 2000, so they called it Godzilla 2000. The scales on his back, like the plates on his back, those were like a dark shade of purple. So that's probably the closest Godzilla's ever been to being pink.
All right. Well, I like it. I thought it looked great in the trailer. Going back to Godzilla -1, it is weird to see him running because Godzilla does not run at all in -1. So to see him just like booking it like an athlete at the end of this trailer is really funny to look at.
Physics. Why are those?
They've made some interesting choices so far. Like in Godzilla versus Kong, that 1 5-second shot where Godzilla's laughing. It's like, okay, like what are they going to do next? Oh, they're going to make him run. Of course, he laughs. Now he runs. What is he going to do? Like sit on a table and have a cup of coffee now?
Hey,
just him and Kong.
Jaws, like the shark in Jaws 4 roared like a lion. Anything is possible.
Oh my God, dude! Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, because everyone loved that.
Oh, Jaws: The Revenge is a cinematic masterpiece.
Well, I think that's a good place to leave it then with Godzilla X Kong. What do we think, guys?
Yeah,
Do we buy or sell this? I'm buying it.
bye.
It looks fun.
I'm
Bye.
buying
Yeah.
it.
Bye.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
it looks like a
Love.
good time.
God, yeah, Godzilla means the world to me.
Mad Max Fury Road is is that movie 10 years old now at this point? 9 years old?
Close
It's been
to it. It's
2015, I think, actually. Didn't it come out?
Yeah, it's close to being. Oh my gosh, man! I remember when that movie came out and the hype around. My English teacher told the class about it. She was like, "You guys have to go see this movie in the theaters. They do not make movies like this anymore." And then I saw it and I was like, "Holy crap! Like this is mind blowing. Like the filmmaking, everything here. Like it was. I'd never seen anything like it at the time when I was a young film enthusiast in my high school years." And now we've got not really a follow up; it's more of a prequel to that movie with Mad Max Furiosa, and it does have characters, and it does look like Mad Max Fury Road, but it's taken place, I think, a number of years before the Mad Max Fury Road came out. And we got our first trailer this week, kind of out of the blue, out of nowhere. And I'm just gonna say for myself, I loved this trailer. This trailer was awesome. Anya Taylor-Joy looks perfect. She looks great in this role. Chris Hemsworth, I almost didn't recognize him when I saw him in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like,
It's weird here.
yeah, he's got like a prosthetic thing going on, right?
Well,
It looks cool.
His voice, like we're not used to hearing him use his natural accent.
Yeah. No, that's true
Right.
too. And it kind of took me a moment to recognize who he was. And then we got like into the action. It looks practical. It feels and looks exactly like Fury Road. Like it immediately took me back. The cinematography in it looked great. This looks like the move. This could be my most anticipated movie of next year, honestly, just
Yeah.
based on this trailer alone. But I'm gonna throw it to you, Ryan. What did you think of this trailer?
Oh, no,
What do you think of Fury Road?
Oh, no,
What
you're
do
all
you think of the
good.
Mad Max
I'm just-
franchise as a whole?
I'm just finishing up a podcast real quick.
So I mean, again, I really love Mad Max Fury Road. I saw it during my finals week back when I was in high school as a bit of a study break. Very awesome 2 hour study break. Very excited to see it. I really enjoy Anya Taylor-Joy's work. Amazing in Queen's Gambit, and I heard
Oh yeah,
that
that's great.
and I think she does some of her own stunts because, like, I saw on like the Graham Norton show, she talked about how she learned to like do like a practical car stunt on her own. So, and they showed the footage, and that looked pretty cool. So, very excited to see that. And Chris Hemsworth, I'm surprised that he's in it because I thought with Extraction 2 coming out this year and Chris Hemsworth announcing his bit of a sojourn from acting to focus more on his family, I thought it'd be a while before we see Chris Hemsworth again, but nope.
Well,
we're
this
seeing him
was
next
shot
year in
before those
Fury.
comments were made. Like this was shot. I think this was probably shot a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. At the
Okay,
That makes sense.
All right, that explains it.
Yeah. What did you think of this trailer, Michael? What are you a big fan of the Mad Max franchise, or what did you think with that?
I'm not a diehard fan of the Mad Max series, but I really do like the movies like a lot. Like I haven't seen the original ones in such a long time, but what I like about them is that they're consistent. There's not a bad Mad Max movie in my opinion. I think the original ones with Mel Gibson are great. Mad Max Fury Road blew me away. Okay, that's one Mad Max movie I'll say that I really did love, but the original ones with Mel Gibson I liked, I don't love. So when I saw the trailer for this, because this is a prequel, because wasn't it this was Charlize Theron's character originally, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I think
Mhm.
it's 10 years before or 5.
I'm
I
very
don't know.
confused
Okay.
on the timeline because
Well, I'll
like
tell you
at the very
Oh no, I'm sorry, Ryan. You go ahead.
because like at the very beginning of the trailer, it's like they say 45 years, after the collapse,
Mhm.
Furiosa is captured. And I'm very confused on the timeline because, like in Fury Road, she said that she was captured about 20,000 days at least. So I think that's like at least, well, not 20,000. That can't be possible. 2,000. So I'm not sure on the timeline. So maybe 7 to 10, possibly. Let's say.
Okay.
I can see that. Yeah, honestly, from what I saw with the trailer, I really loved the way the trailer. It does look like a Mad Max movie, like it still takes place in the same universe. I personally think Anya Taylor-Joy was like perfect casting, in my opinion.
Yeah, she looks great
Yeah,
in this
yeah,
trailer.
yeah.
She looks
Very good.
amazing.
Oh, it's incredible. I love it. I can't wait. Can't wait to see what they're going to do with this. I mean, Mad Max, like I said, they're all good. Like none of them are bad. Like even some of like the lesser ones, maybe like Mad Max 3 is still like really really good. Like they just did a couple things that didn't really work for me, but not to the point where I could like push off so many greats for it. So I have no doubt that this new one is going to be great.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, where does it rank, do you think, off the top of your head, of your most anticipated for next year? Because for me, I think it's landed in my top 5.
I think it might be. I think it might be in my top 10. My top number one movie that I'm anticipating for next year is Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
So excited for
I think
that.
that's the number 1.
Yeah, for me, it's Dune Part 2 that I'm really excited for, especially since I
Yeah.
was so excited for it to come out in November. But then they were like, oh, no, we can't get all the big actors we paid a lot of money for to promote this movie. So sorry, we're going to have to come out in March.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they said the same thing with Craven the Hunter. They said, "I'm sorry, guys, we're pushing back Craven." And I'm like, I don't think anybody cares.
And nobody
Yeah,
cares.
Nobody
about it.
cares.
It does not look good. I mean, plus, like, Aaron Taylor Johnson does. Is that the guy who's
I like
starring
it.
it?
Yeah,
He's a
I
good
like
actor,
Aaron.
but it just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Nah,
It really doesn't. But what we, this trailer, though, this trailer looked pretty good.
it's great.
Yeah. So, Ryan, just off the top of your head, where do you think this ranks in your most anticipated for next year?
I don't know. I don't really think that far ahead in terms of movies.
Come on in.
But I am anticipating Furiosa.
All right. And I think with that, we can just go straight to buy or sell. Do we buy or sell this trailer? I'm pretty sure I already know the answer, but I'm
Yeah,
buying this trailer. This was awesome.
Definitely buying. Yep, absolutely.
And with that, guys, that will be this episode of Members Talk Live. So I want to thank both Ryan and Michael for being here, guys. It was a pleasure. It's an honor to and a privilege to have you here and to meet you for the first time, Ryan. And please tell people, Ryan, where they can find you.
You can find me on Movie Reviews with Ryan Lane on YouTube. I also have a Letterboxd account, also same name, Movie Reviews with Ryan Lane. I post about 2 or 3 movies reviews in a given week, less so because of a COVID diagnosis. But again, next week we'll be back to business as usual.
Same thing as last time, man. Just look me up, Michael Entity on YouTube. Just go on there. I don't have a Patreon, so if you guys want to request stuff for me to do, you go ahead and just leave me a comment, or you can send me a personal message. And yeah, that's basically it, just like last time.
Awesome. And just like we said, guys, both of these guys' links are down in the description below. So definitely check them out. Go click on their names, head on over to their channels, give them some love and support, and tell them Zach sent you.